Hello! Welcome back to Journey into Film and TV with Philip Evans. I am joined by my co-host,
Neil
Neil.
Friesland. Hi.
Neil Friesland. And today we're going to talk about a director who, back in the 80s, was an A-lister who is a legend who, ironically, I believe died 10 years ago this year or
Sounds right. I think that's
yeah,
right.
I think it was this year.
Hmm.
10 years ago, 2009, and his name is John Hughes, the king of the teenage 80s films. Um, he left a pretty big impact, and he gave birth to a lot of careers that we still know and talk about to this day. But before we get into the big film, the first big film he really had that he did not direct, but he wrote the screenplay for, which is National Lampoon's Vacation. Before we get into that, I want to ask Neil, because Neil here was a kid in the 80s. He was a big fan of John Hughes. He basically worshipped the feet of John Hughes.
That's right.
So, Neil, I want to ask you, how did you get introduced to John Hughes, and what made you become a fan of him?
Great. Working backwards, 1987, I graduated high school. So that was in the heyday of John Hughes. So,
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
absolutely one of my favorites, as a matter
Yep.
of fact. Moving forward from 87 and going backward from 87, he's got a big footprint in the movies. So,
Yep.
I was introduced to him in high school, maybe even middle school. But high school definitely, because of his movies really reached out to the teenagers at the time. And
Yeah.
I was a teenager at the time and absolutely loved him because, one, he was funny. Two, he really spoke to me as a teenager, right? And my friends and my friend group. So there's a lot of things that he did that he focused on in those movies that we all thought was great, thought was funny, it was very entertaining. But that's why we grew to love him.
Very good, very good. I got introduced to John Hughes around 2006. I was watching on the Bravo network. They had this show called the Top 100 Best Films, Best Comedies of All Time. Looking back, that list is complete BS because they had a lot of films from the early 2000s that, looking back, should not have been there at the time. But there were quite a few John Hughes films on that list, and in fact, the two films we'll be talking about and the two shows we're doing today were on that list, and that's how I got roped into it. I started watching his stuff the following year in 2007, and I became a fan as well.
Did you
And
just read about him or did somebody introduce you to him?
I got introduced to him through that countdown, Neil,
Yeah,
because
okay,
they were
okay.
showing highlights of like Ferris
Love it.
Bueller's Day Off,
Love it.
Vacation, 16 Candles, and I believe that was about it. Unfortunately, they didn't have planes, trains, and automobiles on that countdown.
Which is absurd.
WTF?
Yes, yes.
Damn you, Bravo, for not putting that on there. But
Yeah.
we're going to talk about Vacation, starring Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase, the man.
Back when he was red hot, he had
Oh.
left Saturday Night Live after the first season. And he tried to have a film career, and he was pretty successful. But this film, Vacation, was his biggest and
Right,
his most famous by far. I mean, everybody, whenever they think of Chevy Chase, they think of this movie.
That's exactly
And
right.
rightfully so, because it is the ultimate vacation from hell
Yes.
captured on screen. So much stuff that goes wrong, and stuff that just you wouldn't imagine doing on a vacation
Yeah.
happens. We also got Beverly D'Angelo as his wife. We've got Anthony Michael Hall
Yep.
playing his son Westy, and Oh God, the actress that plays his
Man, I can't remember her name.
daughter. We got Dana Barron as the sister. I'm sorry, Neil. I took notes so that I could
I can't remember dates.
be informed, so I can remember the names of some of these actors.
What year did Vacation come out?
I think it was 83.
I think that makes sense.
So it was like quite a few years since Chevy left SNL.
Yeah.
This was a film. Basically, the story is about a father who wants to take his family on a vacation, and everything goes wrong. The first scene I want to talk about is the scene when he goes with his son to get a new vehicle.
Yes.
And the person that sells him the car is played by the great Eugene Levy, who is one of my all-time favorites. I first saw him on the American Pie films. He's been one of my favorites ever since. But here's a pretty memorable scene because they take his car and they destroy it.
Yes.
And then they bring it back and it's like a pile of crap now, and they're like, damn it. They basically sold them the wrong cars. What happened?
Yes.
Spoilers. And yes, there will be spoilers for this entire review. Because, hey, the film's like 30-something years old.
Yeah.
So
if you haven't seen it by now, you got a problem, especially for my age. So
yeah, what the hell?
Exactly.
Especially if you were a child of the 80s and you haven't seen that, like Neil was, a teenager.
That's right.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who was not even born in the 80s.
Yes.
I freaking love this film.
As you should. That's exactly right.
Yes.
Now, the interesting little side note on that is I had a friend that owned a wood panel station wagon also.
Ah.
That had a wood panel on the side just like that car. And that was always the joke about we're having a vacation with that car. It was wonderful. So it was great. So, but another interesting thing about all of these movies, from Vacation all the way to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, there are one-liners in that you can remember. And to this day, I still sometimes say those things. So they're great movies.
Do you want to check out the Grand Canyon?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Love it.
I love that. Of course, dude, the next scene I want to talk about.
Yes.
The scene when they go up to the uncle, played by Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
No way, sorry. Take that back.
Cousin Eddie.
Randy Quaid. The better Quaid, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I never have been a fan of the Quaids, but I will say, after watching this one again, Randy is probably the best of the Quaids.
Because he's funniest.
By far.
But he's also like crazy in real life.
He
got arrested in like Canada for stealing something with his wife or something. Like in real life. Anyway. But that's why you love Randy Quaid. So.
Well, there's some scenes like when Chevy's daughter is on the swing, is on the hell's that toy? The seal shot.
The seesaw thing.
The seesaw thing. So it's been a long time since I've seen one of those.
That's all right.
They're on the seesaw, and Chevy's daughter Audrey asked her, "How about the French kissing?" and then she retorted saying, "Dad says I do it best."
Which is your first ooh factor.
That's the first. Oh, that joke was funny as hell, but it would not fly today, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It would not fly today. There'd be cops coming at the door.
Funny.
But then of course there's the scene when Lusty is with the other kid, and he goes, have you got asteroids? Meaning a game. And the other son says, my dad does. referring to actual asteroids.
Oh my gosh.
There is some stuff in
Oh.
that movie, man.
Just classic
Just
movie. Just funny.
Silly.
Yes.
It's silliness, but
And
but it works.
If you watch it, and I know people that say they don't like the movies because they're not funny. If you watch that movie and you don't laugh, you got a problem too. So
Yeah, you know what? You didn't say that about the Blues Brothers. You didn't say that about anything
Right,
from
that's
back
right.
in the day. I did not like The Great Outdoors. Sorry.
It was
But-
okay.
Yeah.
It was okay because it had Dan Aykroyd in it also.
He was also in Caddyshack too,
I
dude,
know.
filling in for Bill Murray. Don't need to say anymore. But yeah, man, there were
Yeah.
more scenes. But one of the most memorable things about that movie was the female in the red Ferrari that
Oh,
kept
yeah.
driving by.
Christy Brinkley.
This, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, and Chevy's. And by the way, the character that Chevy plays is such an asshole.
Oh,
Because he
absolutely.
is flirting with his wife.
Absolutely.
He's, flirting with someone else that's not his wife, sorry.
Yeah.
And he's kind of an a-hole to
He is.
the way he treats the aunt that goes with him on the thing. The fact that he completely acts
Yes.
completely uninterested in the fact that he's probably scarred his family for life.
Yes.
He is such a big asshole. in
Just
the whole
because they put her
movie.
on the top of the car and she's dead doesn't
Yeah.
mean.
And then to make it more cool,
I know.
they actually leave her dead body in a chair in the backyard. That is so fucked up. But
It's hysterical though. It's funny.
it is so fucked
It
up.
is funny.
But it is funny.
Oh my gosh.
It is funny. I'm crying now just thinking about it.
Oh, it's so funny though because it's just
Oh,
comedic.
unrealistic.
Yes, but so funny.
Yes.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
Okay, this is why Neil I said I needed a drink. Because now I can't even talk.
Oh, what a great movie though. Great movie.
Okay. Yeah, but the highlight of the film by far, besides all the stuff we just said, is when they finally get to Wally World
Got the water.
and they find out that it's been like shut down, closed. They're like,
Yes.
so we made this whole trip, 2 weeks of hell for nothing. And so that's when Chevy goes completely insane and goes and kidnaps the security guard played by John Candy.
Which was wonderful.
Yes, you know
Funny.
his John Candy. Before we go any further, God, I miss that guy. The first time I saw him was in Spaceballs, and I was a fan of him from that point forth.
Comedy great. It was a comedy great.
He didn't really star in that many films. If you really think about it, he starred in. Well, we'll talk about it later on, but
Yeah.
he was so good, and I wish that he was still alive to this day.
Absolutely.
But you can say that about a lot of people that I wish were still here. But his scenes as the security guard,
Oh.
which Chevy Chase, makes you think,
Yes.
damn, I wish that they had done a film with just them. You know, they don't have to play the same character, but even if the film was bad, I would
Yes.
like to have seen it.
Oh,
just
absolutely.
To see them.
I wonder how they got through shooting it because I would be
Yeah.
laughing the entire time
Yeah, I'd be like,
with both of those guys
Yeah.
together.
I'd have to yell cut real
Yes,
quick if I
yes.
was on that set. I'd just be laughing the
Yeah.
whole time. But you know the scenes with Candy, when they finally get to Wally World and they do that slow motion one, they
Yeah.
play that music that
Yes.
that's hilly cheesy crap.
Yeah. That music is from a
Chariots
movie.
of
Yeah,
Fire.
Chariots of Fire. That's right.
That came out about I think 2 years before this.
Yeah.
So they spoofed it with that one, and
Sure,
they
sure.
did a great job, and they did a better job. I can actually remember that score from this more like in Chariots of Fire because
Sure.
that film was boring as hell.
Yeah.
I tried to watch it once. It was bad.
I never liked it.
Good.
Sorry.
Good.
Sorry about
in case there's any fans that like that film,
Yeah.
sorry. But Neil, what are some scenes that you really liked from this film that I'm sure I've gone through quite a few, but I'm sure there's some I missed. So go ahead.
you've hit the one I believe where the ant falls off the top of the car when they're driving, which is hysterical. And I believe she bounces on the road and the lawn chair hits the road too. I can't remember. It's been a while, so I need to go back and rewatch.
And of course, the scene with the dead dog, which watching it again, that was not funny for me because
it's too close for you.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was when I was like, okay, you didn't need to add a dog in here, you fucking fools.
Right.
You know, I know it was all meant to be funny, and it has been spoofed before, but dog animal death, no.
Sure.
No, but
the interesting thing is I remember more of the one of the other vacation movies than I do this one. So I mean it's hold on a second. There we go. I'm gonna have to reset this.
Sorry, folks.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulty.
All right, we're back. We're back going.
Sorry, guys. Screen went black. Fuck you, screen.
Stinking Max. Okay.
Yes. Take a fork at you, screen, and I will.
Yeah.
As soon as I have a spite. But one scene I really loved, Neil, when I watched it was when they're getting ready to leave, and they're pulling out of the they're pulling out of the
parking lot area. Is that what you're talking about?
No, the garage.
Oh, okay.
They're pulling out of the garage, and all the stuff is on there, and they bump it, and it falls off.
Yes, that's right. It
falls off. It's
you knew from the very beginning that was going to be problems.
Why from that point on, it's like, we're in for a trip.
Exactly
we're in for some weird, messed up, crazy as hell trip. But
when they try to sing as family in the car, and
the two kids are like this the whole time. It's like, But by the way, Michael C. Hall, you will hear his name a lot. No, wait. Sorry. Anthony Michael Hall. I got him confused with Michael C. Hall.
I was like, what? He was
on Dexter.
Yeah, okay.
I got him confused with Dexter. Sorry, guys. It's the C.
I think everybody understands, though.
Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
You see him in this film, and he's very young in this, and you will hear his name a lot because he was in quite a few of John Hughes' films. But even when he was young, he showed talent.
Absolutely.
And you see him in this one, and you see him in more films, and you're like, you know what? He's actually a pretty great actor.
Yeah.
In this one, and
he's a very good actor.
And Beverly D'Angelo, who once again, I think this is the main film that she's known for. She's still good in that. I don't know what all she's done besides the vacation film. She popped up in season 2 of Mom, and I think that's the last time I saw her in anything. So do you think she should have a comeback?
You know what? I don't know. The last time I saw her myself was in the Christmas Vacation, and I haven't seen her in anything else. So.
Well,
so let's take a break here. We'll come back. Just you said we're taking a break.
We're taking a break, folks, and we'll be back with the next part. We'll be talking about 16 Candles. Did you stop that?